Hey everyone, back to the internet and digital domain, articulating some thoughts online. And it's been 2 years since my last video, and I felt like this has been the right time to get back into the swing of things and just want to share all these things that I've been experiencing. And it's been quite a transformational time, and it's been a really tough and trying time for for everybody and to varying degrees. And I think it's really been a true test of how well people could adapt to certain situations, and I think it's really also shown people like the true colors in a lot of ways, because when it comes down to it, our actions show what our beliefs are. And yeah, I think it's really tempting to put a lot of focus and energy on what's happening outside of us and things that we don't control. And there's definitely a lot of like influencing factors like social media and the news and all this other stuff going on. But ultimately, the only things we could control is our thoughts, our words, and our actions. And truth be told, that's all you really need to create the kind of life you want. And I've kind of been blown away because, you know, the year that I haven't been on articulated thoughts, and when the pandemic started, it's been a really, really tough time. And around November of 2020, I just really, really clicked in or had this big realization that, like, man, I'm really focusing on these things I can control. I'm like, okay, well, what can I control? So I started making some adjustments, and I ended up getting this job at the Amazon warehouse, and that was a really grounding experience for me, just to have a routine. And the job was very numbers oriented and just was really focused on like logical and like organizing, that kind of mentality. And I brought in some practices that really worked for me in the past that I kind of let go of, and I started building some momentum for myself. And really started getting back into sacred geometry, started getting back into my dance practice and like meditation, and it's really worked for me really, really well. And I want to spend some time talk about the sacred geometry stuff because it's highly meditative practice for me, and it's something that I've been increasingly passionate about over time. And my particular style that I use with sacred geometry is called Pointillism. So it's made with a bunch of different dots. So essentially what I do is I take a protractor, a ruler, and a compass, and I draw out with pencil, the sacred geometry stencil. And then I'll take fine point pens and markers and just kind of like fill them. I'll just kind of be creative in how I fill in the designs. And I've been getting more and more creative over time. And the practice is so meditative for me because I'm a big into like audio listening. So I'll usually have some like Baroque music or some meditative music in the background, and or a lecture, or just kind of motivational talking. So there's always something in the background stimulating me and grounding me in that way. But the practice of actually just like sitting down relatively still, and my eyes are just focused on this really beautiful sacred geometry that is really inherent in like all of, like, if you study physics or mathematics, these numbers and these patterns and mathematical algorithms and patterns are like present everywhere. If you're interested, you can look into sacred geometry some more. Just kind of Google that into YouTube, or type it into YouTube or Google, and there's a lot of information on it. But I'm spending hours of a time, just my eyes are taking in this design and my brain is getting creative. And it's also the practice of like the pointillism part is really important because it's ingraining in my brain this idea that, like, it takes a lot of patience to like dot 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 and fill like an entire page. But it's also like metaphorical for life. Like a dot is like a step forward, and sometimes the step forward seems like so insignificant, but in a journey of like 10,000 miles or whatever. But every step is required. Like, there's no way getting around it. If you want to get to point A to point B, you have to take X amount of steps forward, and it's just a matter of being persistent, consistent, and eventually the whole thing will get done. And just doing this practice, it really ingrains it not only in my mind but in my body, because my body is being patient and slowly working away, slowly but surely. And it's also creating this momentum cycle, and it creates this momentum cycle where like I'll have one idea and then I'll fill in one particular part with a particular color, and then when I'm done that particular section, I'll step back, and then my creative juices just start flowing, and then my initial idea starts changing, and I think just life in general is the same way. Like I have a certain idea about something, but I won't take any action. But once I start stepping forward a little bit, then all the creative stuff starts flowing. And there's a really popular saying of go as far as you could see, and when you get there, you'll see further. And yeah, so I just been taking more and more action with like dance and meditation, and all this inspiration's been coming in, and I'm thinking, why not create an offering that combines all these passions that I've really been utilizing and creating balance in my life, and share that with other people. And with the recent lockdowns in Calgary opening up a little bit, there'll be more opportunities to work in studio with the COVID restrictions, to keep everything safe and kosher and everything. And also, I've been more open to Zoom calls. Like, this is another thing too. Like, I noticed throughout this past couple months is like during the pandemic, my mind was so set on like certain beliefs, and the whole idea of going on a Zoom call and doing conscious dance over that, just like, oh, that's like it completely eradicates the idea of going into a room and connecting with other people through this like personal meditation practice. And I'm like, ah, like that's not for me. And then in the past like February or so, yeah, I started taking, a close friend reached out to me and said, hey, like I'm offering some conscious dance stuff online, come check me out. And I'm like, but like, close friend, I'll support them and just check it out at least. And the first session, I was like blown away. I was like, whoa, this is a completely different experience. It's like, it has like the core fundamental structure of a conscious dance class, but I'm in my own space, which changes a lot of the variables. And I started like, I've been using like kettlebells and free weights, so I started like dancing with like using kettlebells and free weights, and like that's something I would never do in a live class, and got more creative juices flowing and everything. So yeah, like I've been putting some things together, and I will be I'll be building content and working with a coach and a mentor, and my personal dance practice has never been more prevalent in my life. Like I'm much more serious about it now, and I see before how not committed I was, and it makes such a big difference. Like just being consistent, being more present, and I'm journaling and making video logs and just really formulating how could I be a better facilitator. And with the Zoom, everyone going on Zoom, I'm taking classes from people from like California and different other parts of the world, and it's just great to be exposed to this buffet of different styles of facilitation and different music styles and mixing styles. And it's also really helped me appreciate a lot like what we got in Calgary, because one of the studios have opened up and I went there last Friday, and like just the DJ that mixed was just really really skilled, and it was just a unique blend that I couldn't really experience anywhere else online. So it's also helped me get some more gratitude and appreciation for what we got going in Calgary, and I want to be part of a contributing factor of like growing conscious dance and meditation and all this other fun stuff. And I got some really creative ideas where I want to implement the sacred geometry into conscious dance, and I'm really excited to share that and see how people, if they have like, similar results, or get some feedback on it. But yeah, I'm just putting the final touches on it, and I'll get more details. Hopefully this in the following week. I should be able to ink it all in tomorrow, but stay tuned, and I'll just constantly put out some more videos and other stuff. Hope everyone's doing well, and feel free to reach out if anything in this video resonates and you want to chat more about it. I'm really open to like reaching out right now, because with COVID, I was really isolated and just felt was in a really really dark, bad place, and really had to sit with my demons, to be quite honest. And I think with the springtime and the spring equinox happening yesterday, I'm really like opened up and like, blossoming in a totally different way, and I would really love to reach out and connect with different people and just share what I've been going through and offer, and just yeah, see how 2021 will unfold. So stay tuned, check in with me, and we'll chat soon. See ya.